Alright, everybody, Andrew Host here with World Tennis Magazine. Now, it feels like just a few days ago the Australian Open was first starting, and now we're done. We're left with two champions. You have, on the women's side, Serena Williams, on the men's side, Novak Djokovic. Both world number ones. Not much of a surprise that they came out on top. But there were some things along the way that really give us an idea of what could happen the rest of the tennis season. We'll start on the women's side. First of all, Serena looked terrific. She was sick throughout the tournament. She didn't feel well. The day before the final against Maria Sharapova, she even had to stop practice early because she wasn't feeling well. But there is one great equalizer, and that is the Serena Williams serve. There are very few men in professional tennis that serve as effectively as Serena. So the fact that she could pull that out of her golf bag whenever she wants, it's a pretty good tool to have. Then you have a couple of other Americans. Venus Williams had shown last year at Wimbledon when she almost beat eventual champion Petra Kvitova, and at other tournaments, that you know what, she's playing better and better tennis, and you know what, she really did show it at the Australian Open. She made it to the quarterfinals where she did lose to another young American, but what she did prove is that she's back. She could beat anybody on any day, and not for nothing, if she had played her best tennis in the quarterfinal match against Madison Keys, she probably would have ended up in the semis. That brings us to Madison Keys, one of the young up and coming Americans. She has really become a sensation. She could hit the ball with anybody, she could serve, she could do anything. She has unlimited potential. She should end up being in the top 10 in the world. It's very possible she'll get there by the end of the year, if not top 15. But you know what? It's very impressive to see this girl play. She even pushed Serena a little bit. She wasn't at her best, but there's reason for optimism in the future. Then you go to the men's side, and one of the big questions was, could Roger Federer win? And you know what? We were shocked. He lost to an Italian, Andrea Seppi, who had a terrible record against Federer. All credit to Seppi in the world, but Federer just did not have it. He looked like he still did not have rest between playing Davis Cup and all the exhibition matches he played in the off season. He did not look like the Roger Federer he can be. Then you have Rafael Nadal. Now, for all intents and purposes, he looked pretty good for a good chunk of the tournament. But in the biggest match that he needed to play his very best tennis, he just didn't have the legs underneath him. Tomas Berdych could beat anybody on any day, and he played his very best tennis to oust Nadal in straight sets, which, to be fair, was a little bit surprising that he got it done so quickly. But once Rafa gets his legs under him, there was some promise that he showed. Then you kind of think about, why did everyone say Andy Murray was going to fall off this year? A lot of people were doubting him. They thought that after his US Open and Wimbledon wins, especially his success at the London Olympics, that you know what? Maybe this guy just isn't going to be the same player anymore. Ivan Lendl wasn't coaching him anymore. He made a big splash. He hired Amélie Mauresmo from France, former Grand Slam champion herself, to coach him. And you know what? It showed. He started playing really, really good tennis once again. In the final against Novak Djokovic, for all intents and purposes, he was the better player for much of the first 3 hours. It was back and forth. Both guys were pretty close to their A game, if not at their top of their game. But at 2-love up in the third set, 1 set all, Andy Murray kind of had a little mental lapse. You know, it was kind of something that we saw before Andy Murray started winning Grand Slams in the Olympics. That right when he was on the cusp, he was so close, and then he let something get to his head. Djokovic looked tired, and he admitted that after in the press conference. But you know what? Murray started thinking, well, what is Novak doing? What's his deal? Why is he moving like he is? He's the best mover, if not one of the best movers in the world. So why is he moving like that? And you know what? Murray did not focus on his own game, and that was all Djokovic needed to get a second win, and he just took it from there. and won the last couple of sets 6-3, 6-love. That was really impressive. Now, a little bit of a surprise. Just a side note, Fabio Fognini, the Italian, who we all know for being a little bit in and out during his matches. We never know which Fabio Fognini is going to show up. Ton of talent, but he lost very early in the men's singles draw, and somehow, some way, he managed to beat a lot of good doubles players with his partner Simone Bolelli, who pushed Roger Federer in the first round, and they were able to win the men's doubles title at the Australian Open. By the way, Martina Hingis, the same Martina Hingis that won title after title in the 90s, won mixed doubles with Leander Paes. Once again, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the Australian Open. Only a few months away from Roland Garros. Let's see if Novak Djokovic could get his first title. Have a good one, everybody.